Welcome back, mourners, to the Lucky Die. Previously, Balance makes an important decision. Rhal makes a huge sacrifice. Pintor is privy to a conversation, and Zaltanna makes a promise to Rhal. With Adette taking her own path to being a goddess, Zaltanna agrees for her soulmate. Now that they have lost Adette, Balance finally answers a proposal that has been put before him. And in answering, Pintor learns a little more about his brother's character. How will Queen Rowena react to the denial? When will Adette become a goddess? And what effect will losing his resistance have upon our already very sick Dragonborn? I guess you're about to find out. Welcome back to the Lucky Die. Let's start this morning out with working out where everyone is. We know that Pintor is in his room. We know that Rhal is curled up in the bottom of the RC. Where is Zaltanna and where is Balance?
Zaltanna is still sitting up a vigil by Odette's body.
Okay. No sleep?
No, she slept. She definitely slept, but she... Also, wait, is Inferna gone? Am I done with the exhaustion?
You are no longer exhausted, so that was why I was checking whether you slept or not.
I gotta fucking tell Balance that she's gone.
Yep.
Wait, I didn't see her get taken. So I'm just kind of...
You just become aware of this as you go to sleep and realize that you can't hear any screaming, like your grief was way too much while you're conscious. When you come to in the morning, that somewhat familiar sound is gone. You don't... I'm going to say, like, mechanically your exhaustion is gone, but you're probably still pretty wrung out. Okay. Balance, where be you at?
Kythea's room, wherever that is, I assume.
Yeah, Kythea's been staying down here in the barracks. You also note that as if you go over to stay with her in her little kind of like little cordoned off like bed area, next to her there is like in the little area that they've cordoned off, there's also a sleeping Talus and a sleeping Caden.
All right.
And just
Balance will just stay with her though.
Okay. Perfect.
In the morning, he needs to talk to Caden, though.
Sure. When you kind of like wake up...
meditation or whatever the fuck, yeah.
Yeah, you kind of like, you're not sleeping that you...
He's laying next to Kythea, but like he's not like sleeping.
He's enjoying the moment. Yeah. You guys, you would notice that people are beginning to bustle around fairly early in the morning, but they tend to they're giving the people who were in the room a little bit of space. Lots of languages here you just clearly don't recognize. They're just and broken pieces of Discord are common. They're trying. They've set up like a little cook fire. A rather large cook fire to feed this freaking army. There's food being cooked, and it's all been taken out into the main hall where the fountain and the pews are. Your Zaltanna, Balance, you guys would smell the smell of cooking and food. Pintor, you, Renala, and Thakit, along with Elise and Tuck, are all invited to go down to join them now that you know that they're under the freaking Witcher Society. You've now been co-opted into this conspiracy and sent down with the rest to join in. So you all can meet up for breakfast, apart from Rhal, who is somewhat stuck.
Indisposed.
Currently.
Yeah.
Indisposed, yes.
All right. Balance at some point, I guess, as they're walking towards getting breakfast, we'll just tell Kythea to go ahead and find Caden. And as soon as he reaches Caden, just give him a big hug.
He gives you a feeble old man hug back, best of the strength that he has.
I need to talk with you for a moment.
Thing you should notice, Caden has like a really deep gash on the left-hand side of his face.
Okay.
And his shoulders like seem to be acting up. That might be old age though, but he seems to be favoring the other more than anything. It's healed over. It's just beginning to scar. He gives you a nod and like pushes Talus on to go play with the other children. Talus would be running off with a rather familiar Asmar that you spoke to before, Rondi, and the little halfling boy that you guys rescued, Zach, way back when, like 30, 40 episodes ago.
They're here. Oh, yeah. Balance smiles at that.
God, my memory is fucking terrible. I don't remember that at all.
They were being captured and were going to be sold as slaves by the bandits that we beat the fuck out of.
That
Rosita and Sack.
I do remember
the mother and child. Yeah.
I remember that episode.
The little halfling boy. He doesn't seem to be saying anything, but the other two seem to be responding well to him. They all seem to be about the same-ish age, and they just go tearing off into like the kind of like eating area. But Kythea keeping an eye on them all. Okay. But yeah, Caden is slowly walking with you.
Did you do what I had asked?
Yes. The necklaces, they're safe.
Good. Where?
The old bank got destroyed when apparently versions of me were destroyed this place. They're hidden in one of the vaults down there.
Good to know. Well, we'll have to probably retrieve it at some point. We'll see, though. All right. I'm glad to see that you're mostly all right.
It was touch and go, but we're fine.
A little bit of a shot in the dark, but here I'm gonna try it. And Balance is gonna like really quick give like a slight like a gentle slap across Caden's face, and he's gonna try using his restore vigor on him. He's still figuring out the new shit that he's learned, and he wants to see if something happens to Caden when he does it.
You look old. Slap. Get over it. Slap.
I'll click it just so you can see it. It probably isn't going to do anything, but he wants to try. So that's the as an action touch creature and remove any reduction in one of its ability scores. Remove one effect reducing its HP maximum or reduce the exhaustion by 1.
No, nothing happens. He just looks a little. What was that for?
Sorry. A little bit of an experiment, and Balance like waves his hand in front of him, and there are like little traces of like purple magic or purple psionic energy residual effects.
How about before slapping you next time, you just tell me?
Well, I wanted to make sure that I actually gave a fair effort, and you weren't expecting it, and suddenly being like, "Oh, I feel something," and then it's not. Like, I don't want a placebo effect. I wanted to make sure it was the real deal.
Maybe a pat on the back rather than a slap to the face.
That's fair. Good morning. And it walks off to breakfast.
Caden's left just like a little dumbfounded, like just slapped him. He doesn't really know how to respond to that.
I love Caden.
Nice. Beautiful human being.
He's more useless than Benno, but like also more lovable.
Yeah, I love Caden. All right. All of you can have met up at breakfast. So Balance, Pintor, Zaltanna. Benno is still not around. Elise and Tuck are nearby. Kythea, Rhal, Thakit are clearly all here. They're all close by. So yeah. Any conversations you want to have before we have to do the thing?
Zaltanna's just being really quiet.
All right. Okay. amongst some of the folks from Kino, there is a cleric of Ilmater. During the night, they come and speak to Zaltanna about the things that need to be done, the particulars of the ritual. They agree to bury her as was your request. Things are a little weird on the surface of Falsum, as they tell you. But the graveyard was mostly unaffected. They explained to you that whatever happened last time a god died, the graveyard isn't quite the same, but it hasn't been destroyed.
No, I don't.
They say they'll make their best efforts.
No, I want to bury it down here. Where it can't be disturbed. Because you're right, the up there. Can't we consecrate the ground, some of the ground down here?
There might be a way. The room, Ilmater's room, the religious room here.
Yes.
We could probably lay her to rest here.
Yes. I think she'd like that. I just don't think that up there, it feels like it wasn't home. And not that this was home ever, but it feels like
safe. Of course. I will try my best.
Okay. When I need to go find my brother-in-law.
We can do this whenever, midday or evening.
Okay. Evening.
I will try to learn more common for you.
What else do you speak?
I should probably explain. The creature here is a tabaxi.
It's a tabaxi?
Yes. I can speak Undercommon. Have met many drow.
Oh. I definitely don't speak Undercommon.
They smile at you and they say, "It is okay, I will try best. Many people here speak common better. I will get them to help. Some people know spells that could help me."
Thank you.
They give you like a little head bump, and they make their way to the religion room. Okay. It doesn't take you long to find Benno. Benno is basically sitting out in most of the rooms of Falsum. He's overlooking where the prison is, where everything is partially broken down. One more is completely gone of the prison. You can tell that people are living here. Falsum itself, broken down ruins, I think as I described before. It's not a pleasant place to be, but building work is happening. Reconstruction is beginning. But Benno is basically mostly walking the streets, but it's fairly easy to find him. He's not carrying his bow, not carrying no weapons, just walking. He nods at you when he sees you.
Hey.
Hey.
You being a little foolish not having a weapon out here?
He nods.
Is that on purpose?
Probably.
Listen. Don't do stupid shit, Benno. Don't act like me the first time, you know?
He nods. I know, I needed some time.
Look, I get it. If you want to leave after tonight, I understand, and I won't blame you. You know?
I think I I think I need to return to the temple for a little while. Get my bearings. That was our home growing up.
Yeah, I wish you could bring her, but we're gonna bury her in Almeida's room. Down there.
He nods.
Probably the closest.
I think so. That's a good idea. When? Do you have any idea when?
Tonight.
He nods. He says, I need to get some sleep. I've been wandering out here all night. I'll be in the barracks. And
Okay.
he goes to walk past you and give your shoulder a bit of a squeeze, and then just turns around and just hugs you, and then heads back inside. Okay. Folks, is there anything you guys want to do before we roll into this sadness?
Find Rhal.
Yeah.
Like, I think at some point Zaltanna would be like, okay, Rhal hasn't shown his face anywhere today, and he needs to be there. I need him there.
As you basically head back towards the Witcher Society, you get a sneaking suspicion that there's something in the cart. You would probably get that idea that maybe he's in there. You've not seen him anywhere else. Like with the little curtains are closed and all this good stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I also want to talk to Tuck and Elise because I know that they're at the Witcher Society.
Yeah, they're you see where they were. You know that they're up and about downstairs in the temple. So,
okay.
Yeah, they're there about. But yeah, you open the door to the RC, and Rhal is laying unconscious on the floor, his eyes kind of flickering open a little bit. There is a huge pool of acid in front of him that seems to have burnt him incredibly. There's a lot of blood around his face. You can see the woods from where he's kind of woken up, where the drool is dripping down, is beginning to dissolve a little bit. He looks a bit of a wreck.
Is he alive? I know what can.
Yes. It's obvious that he's breathing. You can really ragged breathing. Yeah.
So Zaltanna's gonna do a heal on him. She's gonna lay on hands for 20.
Okay.
I can't imagine I'm gonna need it at all today. Now that I said that, you're gonna throw something at me, but
I don't think I could be that cruel. My heart can't take this. Cruelness will ensure I can't help it.
Enemy attack on a burial? That'd be fucking badass.
no, it wouldn't. It would suck.
It would suck. Major balls.
I think that'd be so cool.
No. We'll find out, Iguatfo. Rhal, you feel your chest opening up a little bit. You feel the burning all over your body just begin to lessen down a little bit, and you can take a real deep breath. Your eyes are able to flicker open properly now. You feel better.
Rhal takes a deep breath and rolls over onto his back and looks up at you. So his head is kind of flat against the ground, and he's breathing, panting, catching his breath, and just kind of all he can do is just kind of let out a couple chuckles and laugh as he tries to catch his breath.
Why are you laughing? You were fucking unconscious. The acid. Don't be an asshole. What the fuck?
You saved me. I'm not dead.
Of course I did. You're like my best friend. What the fuck, Rhal? Are you okay?
I thought I was not, and now you're here, and I'm glad that
I'll always be here for you.
He kind of scoots over, still kind of weak. It scoots over and gets you in a one-armed hug.
You're a beautiful idiot. You know that?
Thanks, I guess.
It's a compliment.
That was rough.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to happen again.
I'll bet it will. I mean, you considering what you gave up and what you have inside you, I can't imagine.
Rhal kind of shakes his head immediately. No, that's not it.
That's not it.
It plays in, sure, but
What's going on, Rhal?
I could show you later.
Okay. Well, I don't know. We don't have that mind link thing anymore. I don't know if Balance is going to be able to do that.
He won't be able to share his visions he gets. But you can tell her, and we can flashback that as you tell her. That's fine.
Sure, I'll talk to everyone later about it.
Okay.
I just have to keep calm, so yeah, just help keep calm, and I should be okay.
I feel like you're asking the wrong person to help you keep calm, but I'll try.
He just nods at you nervously.
She just like grabs you into like a one-armed hug. Like she puts her arm around you and like tight, like grabs you in and is like, "It'll be okay. Let's go. We gotta bury my wife."
Okay. Let's go.
Okay. You guys make your way inside, down to where everybody else is. I'm gonna say it's probably about midday-ish. By the time you've gotten up a little bit, walked around a little bit, spoken to a few people, I'm gonna roll on to the thing.
Not yet.
All right,
I wanna do
go
things.
for it.
I feel so
Do a
bad
thing.
for Bucky.
Oh no, I'm about to drag his ass back into the picture.
I mean, I've just been kind of staying out of all of your way because I just kind of gave a bunch of bad news and then dipped. So I'm like,
oh yeah,
"Ooh,
boom, motherfuckers, mic drop,
this
walk away.
is not a good time to be here."
This is the worst time.
The thing is, I don't think there's going to be a better time, so you might as well.
Shit's only
That's
gonna get
never-
I
worse
do
from
want to
here.
say at some point, Pintor just tries to find Fake It and kind of just asks, Fake It, you got any of that dwarven whiskey left from home?
Yeah, I've got a fair bit.
Cool. Give me some.
He like raises an eyebrow, like, do you remember last time we had this?
Not for
Was
me.
Not present.
Not for me. I think there's someone else who needs it more than we do right now.
He nods with compliments. He hands it over.
I'll have that on me.
Fair. Cool. This is going to be great. Fine elven wine and dwarvish whiskey. Beautiful. Balance.
Balance at some point during the day was actually going to seek out Pintor and Fake It.
Let's say for variety of where the hell we are, you find them up in the rooms.
In the Witches Society?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Renala and Bal's like over the top. Like Pinto, you're well aware that she's taking the piss now, and she leaves. As does Thakit, who like gives you a equal level head nod as you would expect from one prince to another, and leaves.
Oh, Thakit, if you could actually stay here for a moment.
Me? What? And he steps back in, and Renala looks hopefully, but Thakit just like shakes his head and just shuts the door. She's really not supposed to be here. What's the problem?
Well, I had been giving some thought to the message that the two of you had delivered to me. And I figured the response would be best delivered to both of you so that perhaps you can understand where I'm coming from and convey that to Queen Rowena.
You're not going to do it, are you?
No.
Cool. Thakit nods.
Balance raises an eyebrow.
She'd understand. I've seen you in the... He, like, looks around as the young lady desperately trying to avoid using the word tiefling. Seen a way you two look at each other. I understand. She would too.
I ask that when you convey that, you rescind certain details.
Mm-hmm.
But
of course.
There is more to it than just that. From a political standpoint, it would be of benefit to me to do so, but tell her that I will find my way back on my own merit, on my own deeds. I will hold counsel with her again one day, as we used to. But it will be from me earning it my own way.
Take a straight charisma roll for me.
Sure.
No persuasion, nothing, just straight charisma.
16.
He stands up, straightens his symbol of Gond. He fixes his attire to be a little bit more princely, even though he's wearing like basic traveling clothes. He clunks his way forward because his armor is not quiet and he's not a quiet person. And he stands before you and he says, well, I, Prince Stakit of Darkhammer, insert all the relevant titles. We accept what you're saying, and you will always have a place in our council. Mother wishes nothing other than just to have a good alliances. She doesn't want this war. And he puts her hand out and says, no hard feelings. She was just trying to find an easy route.
No hard feelings. And Balance returns a handshake.
Besides, also you've got that lovely young lady down there. Mother wouldn't want to come between that. And he looks sideways at Pintor.
Pintor is currently like sitting at the desk with his chair leaned back and his feet up on the desk, and he's like playing with a knife.
Like a certain other person she didn't want to interrupt.
Balance is looking at Pintor like incredulous, like perhaps there are a few things that are... You and I are very different apples despite being from the same tree.
Yeah, I'd say so. But from what I've seen, there's a lot of important things that are pretty similar between the two of us.
Is that so?
Yeah, I think so.
Take it, like, lets go of your hand, gives you a hearty slap on the back, which is like super powerful.
Oh, okay,
Says,
all right.
Well, you're both elves and you both don't sleep, so I think that's a real good start. And he like gives you both a bit of a broad grin. He's like, I'll start drafting the thing to Mother. I'll leave you two to it. And he leaves the room. As he does, like, Rhal is just like standing there, clearly just listening in. And he's like, no, you have got to leave. I don't want to leave. Please, get out. And they go off clunking down the corridor.
You found yourself some interesting traveling companions. I'll say that.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They keep me straight, at least.
So, 45 years. What have you been up to?
Insert backstory.
Insert relevant backstory here. Yeah. I've really just been avoiding as much political bullshit as I possibly can. It's not really for me. And once I found out about you, I kind of hoped that you were the older brother I thought you were. And I'm happy to discover that I was right and that Dad was wrong. So that's 1 point for me.
Any chance to give a point to someone other than Father sounds good to me.
That's fair. He's still a dick. He hasn't changed, as you could assume. Unless he's dead. I don't know if he's dead.
I'm a little sour about him. I'm going to be honest.
Fair.
All right, I'm gonna cut the bullshit here and just cut straight to the point of this.
Great.
Where do you stand in this? If I march into Beligbud and have an army at my back and say, I have slain all of the enemies that stood before us, I've saved the world, conquered any of the challenges that stood before me, this darkness that is going to descend upon the world has been defeated. Or even before then, if I just walk in and say, I'm the rightful heir, where do you stand? Truthfully.
Behind you. You're the rightful heir.
Insight. Aura sight.
Sure. I'm going to assume you had aura sight. You know what you're walking into.
Uh-huh. Wow. It's an 11.
A little difficult to read. No, it's not. I assume he's telling you the truth.
Pintor's not a liar. He's a real bad liar.
Which helps because that's a real bad insight roll.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yes, he appears to be telling you the truth.
I mean, as far as I know, you've been the rightful heir this whole time. Up until I found out you were alive. I never wanted to be king. Father wanted to force me into becoming king, and it's just not a place for me. I'm not really that royal.
As someone who has at least been in the circle within the last... forever, what do you think would be the smart thing to do here?
Well, we have a couple options. We could kick down the doors with an army and take it for ourselves, like you said. I don't know how successful that would be, but that's an option. Another option is if we do save Dad and he goes through with his plan, I become king, and then I go, hey, guess what? My brother's alive. He's king now. That's an option. Option C, we say fuck it.
Fuck it?
Fuck it. Just don't do anything. It's a bad option. I didn't say it was a good option. It's just an option, though. Just food for thought. You know, you're the thinking one.
All right. You can see Balance has like that just happened face.
I'm on a real roller coaster of emotions right now.
Grab some pina coladas, lounge chairs.
Go to the Winchester, wait for us to all blow over.
Go to make some s'mores, campfire.
Well, all things considered, you've had 50 years to think. What do you think?
I spent a good portion of that 50 years trying to get my everything under control and figuring out how to do it. I hadn't given much thought to any of this. I didn't think that there was ever a chance I would get out, and let alone everything that has transpired since then.
Well, do you want to be king?
Yes.
Why?
Because I think I can make a difference.
I think so too.
Because someone needs to.
Well, if you do become king, I'll have you back.
I appreciate it.
No problem. You'll probably do better than Dad anyway.
He's got his strong suits. I don't think King is very becoming of him. He has his moments, however. I think I got more of my sense of justice from Mother, though.
I could see that.
Just a little bit.
Well, obviously,
Anyways.
you guys have a lot that you're kind of dealing with at the moment. So, I mean, I know I just kind of delivered a lot of bad news all at once, and it wasn't really great.
It's all right. You're not to blame. And I appreciate you at least trying to help us in the whole dreamscape.
Of course. I'm not going to let someone... If I can fight, I'm going to fight. I'll help people when I can.
There's that familiar bond. Balance goes over and holds out a hand. He like goes around the desk so he's in front of you and holds a hand out.
Pintor will stand up, throw the dagger on the table, and shake your hand.
Balance pulls you in a hug.
Oh.
Oh.
Pintor at first doesn't know what to do and then realizes that he's wanted a brother basically his whole life and realizes now that he has a good brother, he's going to give him a hug and return it.
Oh.
Oh.
All right, V, you can fade to black now.
Okay.
Cut to the scene when he turns and then throws Pintor off the balcony.
Okay. We're gonna roll forward. You guys find yourself in the same room that Rhal finds himself in when he's in this room. It's white everywhere. The pews are simple reds. There is, however, a really rather disturbing torture rack serving as the altar. But upon this rack, there are garlands of flowers, white and red-stemmed flowers. Looks really pretty amongst all the green. Nobody knows where they came from, and some people suspect it's probably an illusion, but they've done the best that they can. They've cleaned her up and laid her out. They bound her wrists with red cord, as is the accordance traditions for an Ilmater funeral. Her eyes are closed and she has little rocks over them with painted eyes. The tabaxi that you were talking to before steps forward and they say, "We're here for Adet Thunderheart, our sister who suffered for other people, following the real ways of Ilmater. From what I understand, she couldn't bear to see anyone suffer. And she was a healer at her very core. Our thoughts go out to her brother, her twin Benno, to her wife Zaltanna, and to her brother and sister in arms, Tuck and Elise. She was very powerful as a cleric and had a lot of faith in the people around her and in our God. We will commit her body here, in this safe space, should anyone wish to find her. I just have a single prayer to read. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on the snow. I am the sun on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift uplifting rush of quiet birds in circled flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. So do not stand at my grave and cry, because I am not there, and did not really die." As they finish this short poem, they raise their hands up high, and their holy symbol of Ilmater turns to red ribbons, travels down their body and ties their wrists together. They take Adet's hands in their own, and these ribbons pass around her own. And in a soft yellowish, goldish light, Adet's body just fades away and disappears. And you can see on the wall that there is a small plaque that has formed from this gold light, and it has Adet's name on it. I think that's a point we're just going to fade that scene out, I think.
Thank
Because
you.
I'm not going to attack anyone at a funeral. That's real shitty.
I have something I want to do, but I'll
Sure.
if anybody else.
I mean, Zaltanna's definitely going to go up and say a few words, but I feel like I don't really have anything I know that I want to say, so I'm just going to leave that up to the listener's imagination of all the magical, amazing things she said about her time with Odette.
Yeah.
I just want to find Zaltanna for a second after it's done, and I can find her off on her own at a point.
Yeah, I think it's safe to assume that Tier's regulars would have all stood up and said things. But yeah, I'm happy to fade that out, and then, you know, there's there's not a lot of people up and about now. Most people have gone back to the barracks or whatever, but you guys basically have the run of the rest of the place. So, go forth, Pintor.
I just kind of stand over Zaltanna for a second, and then I reach in my back pocket and pull out a flask, and I say, I didn't know her, but I wish I did. And I think that you need this more than I do right now. And I hand the flask over to Zaltanna.
She takes a big swig and she's like, thanks. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. And I leave her be.
She's probably going to pass it around with the rest of Cheers regulars.
Yeah, that's fair. Benno, who is not a huge drinker, takes a few sips, at least takes a sip and passes it on. Balance, you wanted to do a thing?
Yeah. After the ceremony, Balance gets up and kind of just quietly slips out of the room.
Mm-hmm.
Balance is going to make his way to the armor stand.
Yep.
And close the door behind him. I'm assuming he's in here by himself.
There are there's a turtle and a my god, a drow. There we go. I was trying to look for what the fucking equivalent was. Yeah, there's a turtle and a drow standing guard, just to make sure that no one goes in because of the mirror. But, you know, I guess after a small explanation of who the fuck you are, they let you through.
Okay. So he gets past them, explaining, you know, hi, I'm kind of, you know, really important to this whole thing. Goes in, closes the door behind him. First question, is the hammer in the room?
No.
Okay. Shield is still on the stand.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Mirror is still covered.
Mirror is still covered. Balance is going to walk up to the armor stand and just kind of trace his fingers along the shield.
Mm-hmm.
And out loud, but in a quiet voice, he just says, have you decided what you want to do about the rapier?
I think that the quicker we get the things on the stand, the better. You've just lost one of your own. This could happen to any one of you. I'm very concerned that the dwarf went off with one. I'm hoping he is as reliable as your friend Rhal thinks he is.
I kind of assumed that would be your answer, and I understand. I can't help but feel like I am responsible in some way for our loss. And I dread to share that thought with the rest of them. I don't think they understand quite the burden I feel that I bear. They are my friends, but they look to me for advice, for aid, for leadership. And in that regard, I think I have failed.
You blame yourself for Adette's death.
I think there always could have been more that could have been done. We went in without a proper strategy. I didn't know what to plan, but we could have done research. We could have done something. There had to have been something. Someone who could have... Balance pauses and steeples his fingers together. I'm forgetting who I am, who I was, and I don't know who I could be. And I want to see something. Balance walks over to the mirror and rips the curtain off and sees if something happens.
Absolutely nothing happens.
He just stares at his reflection. I don't know what I was expecting.
That perhaps your vision has changed. Balance, I have lived vicariously many, many lives. And I can tell you, no one knows anything. Everyone changes from who they were to who they are to who they're going to be. You may have started off as someone who, like me, just fighting for a loved one, to who I am now, a reluctant teacher. People change. People don't know. And especially with the god of foresight dead, people can't really tell the future. We can only try and do the best that we can. And I'm afraid you are going to fail on occasion. You should learn from them, grieve them, but don't lose yourself in self-doubt. You are going to make a fine leader one day.
Thank you.
I owe you a conversation, but I feel that right now is probably not the best time.
When you're ready. When there's time.
Absolutely.
For now, I need to go speak with my friends.
She do.
Balance walks out to go find his buddies. Because he feels there's something important that he wants to talk to them about.
Oh. Okay. Pintor, where are you in all of this craziness? Wait, I have to ask something about Balance. Did you put the curtain back up on the mirror?
Yes.
Okay, good.
He rolls it out into the hallway and throws it into the room with a bunch of people in it. No.
I mean, I have
no.
mirrors seen set up almost every person in the game. So.
We do. We start another podcast of just mirror scenes.
Hey, random NPC number 2533. Get in here.
Soldier B.
I feel like Pintor probably would have left Zaltanna and all of them to grieve and do what they have to. So he would have left with Rhal and Vacant and probably went back to the main hall.
Okay, that's cool. Good to know. All right. Okay, Balance. I guess the ball is in your court. You wanted to go talk to your people?
I need to find Zaltanna and Rhal.
You do. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say you can probably find them in Ilmater's room.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Balance walks in and just kind of gestures to the two of them. Do you mind if I speak with you for a moment?
Sure.
What's up?
There are two things I wanted to say. I feel that I have failed both of you, and I am sorry for that.
What?
How?
I have been trying to be the best leader that I can, to have an answer for everything, to have a solution to every problem, to plan things out before they can occur, and I can't help but feel guilty that this all could have been avoided if I had just been better.
Balance. I love you like a brother. Do not make my wife's death about you. It has nothing to do with you. It happened. It fucking sucks. But at the end of the day, I went to get her back and she chose not to come back. Chose. I could have brought her back and There's nothing. If she doesn't want to come back, there's nothing. We killed the Sandman. You helped free me from him. You know, this isn't has nothing to do with you being a bad leader. Okay? You're not a bad leader. You're fucking great. You know how hard it is for me to trust someone enough to ask them for advice when I'm in the throes of like one of the angriest bouts of anger I've ever had?
Balance smirks.
Rhal gets up and walks over and gives you a hug. Balance, I have a confession to make. I have not been following your advice because I thought you were our leader. I was following your advice because I like you.
Yeah.
I'm going to opt to take that as a compliment.
I might have
No,
misunderstood.
I feel like we don't really need a leader. Like, you're the tactical one. I'm the one with the brawn, and Rhal is the one with all the hot, and you know, just the sweetest person. So like, we have all the bases covered. We don't really like have. I don't want to like a leader per se, because like that just feels like. If you say like I'm your leader, it feels less like we're a group of friends and more like you see us as your soldiers. You don't see us as your soldiers, right? You see us as your friends.
Right.
Exactly. So don't worry about being a good leader. Worry about being a good friend, and you are. So
a good leader is someone who is liked. And, you know, I'm probably not the best one to talk about all this. I never listened to him as dad. Fuck that guy.
I'll drink to that. And she takes another swig.
I appreciate it, both of you. The other thing I wanted to mention as well, just with everything that happened, it got my mind thinking. If the worst should happen, what are the... I'm trying to think how to say this without sounding really bad about it. Are there any cultural steps I need to follow? Balance like looks really awkward about it, but he's like, I like burial rites, or I feel like that's something that might be important. Balance kind of turns away, like bashful, like I just thought it might be something kind of important to perhaps talk about. But I mean,
Balance. It's very sweet that you're asking. But do we have to talk about our eventual deaths tonight?
Rhal kind of looks over at the plaque on the wall. And he's been like very calm and stuff. Like he's been like pretty like relaxed as he's watched all this. Like this is like not really anything new to him, except for the fact that this ceremony was definitely new to him. And he says, I've shown you what I always knew would happen to me. All this is nice. But I don't need any of this.
It's too painful for me to think about anyone else's death right now. I can't have this conversation right now, Balance.
I understand.
I can talk to you, Balance.
If you want to. If you're all right with it. I actually was hoping that I could perhaps educate you as well on mine, should something happen. It's actually not as dark, in my personal opinion. Though I don't think any burial or ceremony is really that dark in the first place.
Unless you throw them in the pit.
That is not a burial or a ceremony. That is barbaric and horrifying. and should not be done to anyone.
Boys,
Hmm.
can we have
Hi.
this conversation tomorrow and tonight? We can just kind of like sit.
Sorry. Here. Rhal takes balance and leaves the room.
Wait, no, don't leave. I mean, I need my friends right now. Jesus fucking Christ. Sorry. Fucking
Well, Rhal has to talk about
Conversation.
death. And
It's
you
a
don't want to.
conversation to have tomorrow and basically sit down and drink with your
Yeah,
friend.
that's what all
Basically
Zaltanna's
what
asking
she's
for is
trying
that
to
we like
Rhal,
put the conversation about like how would you like to be buried off until she can at least like have a night to deal with the fact that her wife literally just died. Like, this is a really weird time to ask that question.
we might die at any point.
I understand. I understand that.
No, I know that's out of character.
Rhal has also told you, and you would balance to remember that the Dragonborn burn their dead, the honored dead.
Okay.
Balance would have remembered that because Rhal has specifically said that a very, very, very long time ago.
I think I remember that, yeah. Before Rhal drags him out, Balance is going to say, I understand. Let me give you something then, and then Rhal and I will talk a bit, I guess. And Balance is going to reach into his bag and pull out what looks like an acorn, probably about the size of like half a thumb. It's the bottom part of it is like a kind of light bluish purple, but it's paler. And the top of it is like kind of like a sky blue, but also with that pale white to it. And he just puts that in Zaltanna's hand and says, I'll explain that to you tomorrow. And goes out with Rhal. V, I promise there's a point to this.
I'm used to y'all making up shit. Go for it.
I think this is a very cute one. I think you're gonna like it.
Okay, go for it.
So Balance goes out into the hallway with Rhal.
Okay. We go into whatever is the most quiet corner.
We go into the death room. No, let's not go into that room.
Go check out the mirror room again.
Oh god.
I mean,
there's no point. We're both fine.
we just find a quiet
Yes,
place.
You find a quiet place, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
totally fine.
I told Zaltanna I would show her. But she doesn't want to deal with that right now. But I think that you should be ready. I think I should show you what happens.
What happens to what?
What happens? Like when Zaltanna found me this morning.
Was I made aware of what happened?
Most definitely, I did not say anything. I've been very
The answer
distracted.
is no.
No one has. Did something happen? Did you pass out again?
Kind of.
Balance raises an eyebrow.
It's something I've known would happen for a long time. And you need to see it to understand what's going to happen and why I am making the choices I am making.
All right. Lay it on me then, and Balance will reach out to Rhal's mind and
Whoosh, 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 whoosh.
Spend the side points, but yes, it happens.
I need to figure out what a third of 57 is. Hold on.
Some number, 19 maybe. Rhal takes you on a bit of a journey. He doesn't show you one memory, he shows you a series of shorter memories. It starts off as a child. It's pretty young. You find yourself through Rhal's eyes inside a hospital wing. There are many beds set up, blankets all around. There are many dragonborn of many colours all around. You see that there is a slightly kind of like a younger version of the white dragonborn that you remember Rhal showing you in the pit nearby. But the one that Rhal is particularly trying to show you today is an older dragonborn who is opposite him, who is a black dragonborn, the same affliction as himself. You see him vomiting and drawing blood the same way that Rhal has been doing fairly recently. You hear the dragonborns around because you're in Rhal's mind understanding what they're saying, despite the fact they're speaking Draconic, announcing that this is the second stage and there's just one more to go. They don't expect him to last particularly long. He flashes forward a little bit more. The nosebleeds on this one are getting worse. You can see that he is coughing up a lot more acid, as Rhal did fairly recently. It's thick, mucousy, and filled with blood. And then one night, everything is quiet. There are hardly any other dragonborn around. And you hear coughing and spluttering in the night. And Rhal takes steps over to this bed to see what is happening. You can see that the dragonborn, the slightly older one, is looking very sickly now. You can see that there is blood forming underneath the scales and oozing through, some of them being pushed out and falling off completely. But everything is raw and red, his entire body. They tell you the next morning that this is the third stage. It's an attack, in his case an acid attack, and they have to watch him nightly now, because it won't be long. Over the next series of weeks, you see this dragonborn getting worse and worse. Waking up in the morning, Rhal's never sure whether he's going to be alive or not. But he seems to keep struggling through. The acid attacks are becoming more frequent. At night, you hear sizzling of flesh, the dissolving of bone, the ragged breathing. And one night, you hear this dragonborn cry out in pain. And Rhal very carefully tiptoes a little closer to see what's happening. You see the acid is oozing and forming and just pouring from his nose like a geyser sprouting out from his mouth. And then you hear it. A final crack, a final fizzle. And his chest caves in as the acid has eaten through the bones. It's not long before the dragonborn stops moving. And then you're back in the now.
Balance is probably a little bit green in the face.
And Rhal is shaking, of course.
Balance is going to grab Rhal on a hug.
I can keep that from happening if I just stay calm. I need help, though.
I'll do my best. Just tell me what to do.
He squeezes you.
Actually, I have an idea. V, if you'll allow it.
Persuade me.
Balance wants to try to use what ability he's obtained over fire just to make his hands feel warmer, similar to that kind of warm touch that Ama would have had.
I'm going to say yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's going to kind of just like take that hand and just place it on the side of Rhal's face. And then kind of make a face like he's like unsure if this is going to work or not, and just looking at Rhal as if this to see if this is helping.
I mean, he seems pretty calm.
I'm trying my best to mimic the feeling. I don't know if this is working or not. You have to give me some feedback here, Rhal. Otherwise, this is just really awkward for me.
Rhal laughs a bit. It's nice. The idea more than anything.
Okay. I wasn't sure how you were going to react to me being able to wield fire in some manner, and
Oh, I don't know what you can do. All that stuff is crazy to me.
I don't even know what I can do sometimes, to be honest. It's a lot of guessing games and calculated risks.
Yeah.
Just so far, they've been in my favor.
Yeah. I just now more than ever, I need to be calm. I just need to make it long enough to get Ama, and that's all I want to do.
We'll figure something out. With any luck, Talvin will be here soon. Maybe he will know someone who can help.
Rhal takes your hand that is warm and puts it on his chest. And his chest is damp with a bit of blood. The eye that I have. Help Pilgrim get her back. Have her take that.
You want her to have it? Why?
She can do what Kaithia does. She could have a job. We tried to work before fighting. We were poor and homeless for like a year. We tried jobs, but for me, the jobs I got never worked. They were too stressful. We can't get jobs, but with this, she could. She could live without me fighting. She could live a whole nother life. She'll need it. It's because people will know who she is. They'll know that the golden dragonborn has died. She wouldn't have to leave Falsam. She didn't want to leave before it was her home. She won't have to now. No one will know.
Understood. I gave you my promise before, and I give it to you again. I'll help you as best as I can.
It gives you a good hug. Okay, good thoughts now. Happy thoughts.
Right. Yes.
Starting now.
Right.
And nods
Puppies
at you.
and kittens and
Yes, I like those.
they walk out and balances like minor illusioning, just like a bunch of cutesy shit.
That
Rhal's
is
easily
unbelievably
amused.
adorable. All
As
right,
you would
I'm going to say we're going to wrap through to tomorrow, kind of. So we'll get you guys, wherever it is you end up settling. I assume Rhal is now going to need to stay in the barracks so someone can keep an eye on him.
Yeah, he's
Well, I'm going to insist he sleeps like on the bed next to mine.
Yeah, I assume at some point someone would very tactfully let Zaltanna know what has happened. Either some point during the night or early in the morning. Either way, like Zaltanna can get caught up. I'm going to roll around to the morning. So now Rhal has this bizarre new stage 3 of his issue. He's going to currently need to roll a d20. If he rolls a natural 1, he is going to suffer an acid attack, which drops his hit points to 0, and he'll start suffering death saving throws. So now your long rest is done. I want you to roll that before I move on to the next bit.
there's no way it'll happen again.
Don't say that. You'll jinx
He
yourself.
says.
No, I'm going to say that every time. There's no way it'll happen. Everything will be okay,
Put your
guys.
dice where your mouth is, dude. Roll the
Everything will
d20.
be okay, guys. Don't worry. Oh, it was a 3.
Well,
Oh,
it wasn't
God.
a 2.
That would've been funny if it was a
wasn't
2.
a 1. It wasn't a 1.
So that mechanic also gives me there's a couple more bits to it. We should probably just shout out now while we're on the mechanical part.
All right, let me
The
bring up my...
rest of that day, I believe he will have one level of exhaustion until he gets another successful long rest.
Correct. So if he fails, he gets down to 0, does death saves. If he survives that, because you guys were keeping an eye on him, hopefully, he'll suffer a level of exhaustion until he sleeps again. Every time he fails, he drops down a dice size. So he'll be going from a 20 to a 12 to a 10 to an 8 to a 6 to a 4, and it would just stay on 4s after that point. So yeah, have fun with that. He did this to himself, but it was super fun. Okay, so you guys pass the evening in whatever manner you wish with whomever you wish, being gentle and calm. Pintor, I assume you're staying in the Witcher Society?
Yeah. I definitely challenged Fake It to a drinking contest and failed miserably after having three shots of dwarven whiskey and completely passed out on the table.
I like how you think you had 3. Renala also drinks you under the table because dwarf. Because dwarf. It's with a somewhat pounding headache that you wake up to the sense of magic all around you. As you kind of wake up and have a look around, you just hear this slow rumble of a woman talking that slowly gets louder and louder and faster the closer she gets to your area. And as you guys pop your head out, you recognize the form of a tall human woman with red hair, shaved side, covered in runes, tattoos, and all that good stuff. And there is a small halfling named Squash standing next to her.
Squash.
No, let's call him the Squashling. He's a Squashling now.
Hello everyone, Rhal here. Apologies for struggling to get episodes out on time lately. If episodes are not coming out as you expect them, maybe check the Twitter or the Discord for an update or send us an email. But thank you for your patience. I would like to take a minute to just seriously thank our Patreons for their support. Your support doesn't just help us make us feel like we have done something right, which it does, but it also really does help us keep making the show better and better. So to all of our patrons like Jacob Madden, thank you all so much for your support. It really does mean a lot to us. If you have not gone to our Patreon to check out some of our tiers, your support can get you into this pool of naming things that we have. It can get you early access to the Kino campaigns, and it could even get you answers to some of the questions you might have. You can submit questions to our AMA if you would like. There's a bunch of different things that we are currently doing for patrons, current projects that have been unlocked by Patreon that are in progress. And the more support we get, the more time we can put into making more things. And so you are really helping support and expand the show beyond what it already is. We always have a bunch of things that we would like to do, but we are already putting so much time into what we do already. And your support really helps us take the extra step into expanding this and taking the time to do more things that we would like to do. So thank you so much for letting us do these things with you. If you are able to consider supporting us, then you can go to patreon.com/tldpod, where you can sign up and help support the show. Until next time, thank you all so much for listening. One more thing, the poem in the funeral scene was a poem by Mary Elizabeth Fry called "Do Not Stand at My Grave and Weep." Just have to throw out that wonderful work was made by Mary. So thank you again for listening, and we will see you all next time. Bye.